Agostini.
Without question, Will Hunt that is absolutely in his Hankook wheel tracks as they head onto the brakes. Round through the left-hander at Maurice, and now you've got the binoculars around the right way. Who is this guy?
Was one of the white ones, yeah. He was a long way away when I first looked. And we were right in third position is Will Hunt, the one I said to watch out. Car that's on the move there is the great Dean Warren, number 19, is absolutely flying through this field as it stands at the moment. He's made up 2. He's up into 5th place, having started in 7th. And as you say, the one that's probably going to be kicking himself a little bit is Matt Jones, the number 77 car, dropping down to 4th place. Still the lead Fangio, so that's good news on the Fangio front. But he still wants to score maximum points that he can in the overall to try and overhaul Chris Short on that side as well. And that's a bigger gap that he's got to make up than he does in the Fangio.
Yeah, Chris Short up from 8th on the grid to 6th after the first lap of the race. James Pinkerton up from 9th on the grid to 7th. So both of those gaining 2 places there, 2 drivers that I thought would do exactly that. The race leaders are already just heading round through the left-hander and out of Agostini. Shane Stoney at the end of 1 lap of racing, led by 1.3 seconds from Ross Elliott in 2nd place, who's falling ever more away, but not really into the clutches of Will Hunt still at this stage. The 2 white cars 2nd and 3rd, the black car Matt Jones sitting there in 4th place. It's Dean Warren that's there in 5th place, but under pressure he's got Chris Short right behind him as they head out of our sight round through the right hand flick at Williams and onto the Bentley straight, where the speeds begin to build at the wheel of these Radical SR1s. All of them, remember, powered by identical 1340cc Suzuki engines tuned by RPE.
Pressure. It looks as though the 3rd place car, but Will Hunt's under growing pressure. Matt Jones, the white number 77 car, is quite dramatically through the bomb hole.
Safety car.
Okay. Well, that kind of means it's irrelevant, but certainly we can say that we saw it happen. Oh, we got a side-by-side towards the line there. It's still the grey 19 car of Warner was trying to. Now, is he going to stay there, or is now he thinks that he was ahead of the line by the looks of that, doesn't he? We've got a British touring car situation going on there where one thinks that they were ahead and the other one disagrees by the time they got to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I think it should be Dean Warren from Chris Short. I think Chris Short was probably so focused on trying to overtake Dean Warren that didn't see that Dean had blended off the throttle because the safety car boards were out. So I think that will sort itself without too much of a problem. What it does mean is that Shane Stoney, who was getting away, is going to have all of that gap closed back up again now.
And of course, sorry Mike, what you also realise that would have meant if Short had made that move is that line astern would have been Jones and Short, that is the fight for 2nd place overall and the lead of the Fangio.
But yeah.
Warren is going to be sort of like the filling in the sandwich in between them there, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment with Matt Jones, he would take 40 points in the Fangio section of the race. Chris Short would take 35. There's only 20 points between them, so the gap would close up by 5 points. It would also be an extra point for Matt Jones for setting pole position in the Fangio category, and at the moment who's set the fastest lap in Fangio, because that also nets you an extra championship point as well. Well, Jones has done a 2-minute 2.9, Chris Short has done a 2-minute 3, so he's got the extra point for that as well. So yeah, it would close the gap up by 7 points between the pair of them, so there'd be 13 points separating them if my maths are correct.
Now we know we lost the 17 car of McAlroy, that just pulled off on the exit of Agostini, but we also lost the 24 car of Paul Clark. So, and I can't see anything on any of the cameras as it stands at the moment. It's going to be right in front of us again like earlier, but no, it isn't at the minute.
That's a real shame for Paul Clark, because that now means it's 2 back-to-back non-finishes for him. He non-finished in the second of the 2 races at Donington Park last time out. So he started the season beautifully well and consistently, but has ended it with a troubled couple of weekends at least. Let's hope that the car is okay and it will allow him to head back out. Second and final race of the season. Probably from Ross Elliott, who's closing in on the slipstream of the champion from this year, in towards the braking area at Ritchie's corner. They threw the car in towards the right-hander. Shane Stoney got away well initially when the lights went out, but on the restart, Ross Elliott was ready to go, wasn't he?
Kind of what we saw at the original start as well, wasn't he? So he's certainly lightning off the start since Ross Elliott. Bear in mind, he came from third to challenge him for the lead, so that was very, very impressive. Excuse me. The other one that I noticed, and it's still raging at the moment, Chris Short, James Pinkerton, the number 11 and number 1 cars, 2 white cars, were going side by side down to the first corner. It has sorted itself out. Which way? I couldn't quite tell, and it's difficult because one's car 1, one's car 11, so it's quite hard to pick them out, but just behind the grey car of Dean Warriner.
Let's just have a quick look. It is still the same order. It's still Chris Short, and then it is James Pinkerton, because James Pinkerton's car has just got the Dayglow flashes down the side, but Chris Short is much quicker through Hamilton. Really got a much better run on Dean Warriner, but couldn't do anything about it at Oggies. He's going to try and cut through, is he now, still tucked up behind the grey car as they flip their way through the right-hander at Williams and then onto the Bentley straight. Already Shane Stoney looking to try and make good his escape again. It certainly looks as though again now that we are halfway round this restarted lap after the safety car, that Shane Stoney is starting to build the margin in towards the braking area for Brundle and Nelson. The circuit flicks left, through the slightly right to the right.
Closing all the way around Bonball into Murray's. He's now starting to reel him back in again. If anything, you're kind of both managing to catch the car ahead of them, of Ross Elliott. The sort of Dayglow pink and blue stripes on that white car signifies Elliott. And we've got to look towards the inside by Matt Jones, and I think he's just kind of trying to put off the car ahead of him, but Hunt was not going to be put off that easily and just sticks to his racing line. Doesn't even go defensive there, Mark, did he? Just stayed to the left on the outside sweeping line. Didn't feel he needed to block off Jones just yet, but he certainly was having a very serious look, wasn't he?
Yeah, for Matt Jones, remember, the overall championship, he lies third in the standings. The Fangio Cup, he's second in the standings, and fighting away with Will Hunt will not gain him any more points in the Fangio Cup, because Will Hunt is not eligible for that. So you gain a place, that would net him an extra overall championship point, but wouldn't net him any more.
But he wants to move away from Chris Short, that is behind Warriner, the number 11 car.
And they're getting closer. And they're getting closer all of the time, aren't they? Yeah, that queue of cars behind the grey car of the one of Dean Warriner, then Chris Short, and then the white car but with the orange crash helmet, that being last year's champion, the car of James Pinkerton returning to the series. 9.5 minutes of this race to go. The fastest lap of the race was posted last time through by Shane Stoney. He's the only driver to have done sub 2 minutes at the moment. 1 minute 59.541. Not that he needs it, that gives him an extra championship point.
No, I think he's really got this. Onto the back of got strips of Lucas, interestingly, at different parts of the circuit by the looks of it, Mark.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just got to be the drivers rather than the cars,
Well,
surely.
they're all identical. Yeah, they can change bits of the setup. They're all running the same tyre. They've all got the same engine. So yeah, it's really just down to how they're coping and dealing with the pressure. And for the moment, it looks as though Matt Jones now is starting to gap Dean Warren again and gets up onto the back of Will Hunt that sits just up the road in third place. Already Shane Stoney flicking his way through the left-hander at Palmer. He's on lap number 6. We've got 8 minutes of the race still to go. There goes Shane Stoney past Tyrrell's. Then we drive of the 2 cars in second and third place, Ross Elliott, Will Hunt. Then the car of Matt Jones. Dean Warrener is now still sitting there in his position, but James Pinkerton has got himself ahead of Chris Short.
I thought that he was too far back by the time they sort of disappeared out of our view in towards Palmer, but they suddenly reappeared and he made that one move, which is not good news for Chris Short. Is good news for Matt Jones, the black number 77 car. If he could know, then he'd be licking his lips, but he's now managed to close back into the rear of that 21 car of Will Hunt again. So again, where it just ebbs and flows back and forth with this race, and that has suddenly meant that the second place car of Ross Elliott, number 52, has managed to pull away. Still, Shane Stoney just scampering away in the distance, and it's all happening behind him. I think we're going to have to tell him about how good the race is behind.
Sitting in 6th position, that would net him 22 points. Laps have been completed. Another new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 57.368. Bearing in mind his pole time was a 2 minute 18, and that lap is just 21 seconds. Just going to show how
That was what they were the second session out qualifying, weren't they? So yeah, it was still particularly bad. You look at the circuit now, Mark, and it's dry with the occasional darker patch rather than the other way around, isn't it? So it has developed quite dramatically. Now, our leader's already in the infield heading towards Agostini as we wait for the rest of the field to appear. It is all happening back there. Second place, fairly lonely as it stands at the moment for Elliott, but massive pressure for the third place car of Hunt because Matt Jones, 77, is with him, and then all hell's breaking loose behind them, isn't it? With the grey car of Dean Warrener, yeah.
Dean Warrener, who is coming under an increasing amount of pressure from James Pinkerton, who gets a good run coming out of Agostini up towards the left-hand flick at Hamilton. The white car with its day-glow flashes, the orange crash helmet in the hands of the champion from last year, closing in onto the all-grey car of Dean Warrener as they flick their way through the right-hander at Oggies up the very short straight before you then pitch the car in towards the next of the right-handers at Williams, and that brings you on to the Bentley straight where the speeds begin to build again, and it does offer up an opportunity for James Pinkerton to try and get himself in the slipstream of the car ahead. Maybe then try and sneak through and run down in towards Brundon and Nelson. Already safely out of Nelson goes Shane Stoney to lead the rest of the overtime here now, isn't he? He's got James Pinkerton, the champion from last year, right behind him.
Behind him, but it is very much a 5-car train when you look at that. Well, on the straight though, it's interesting, is it looks to me as though Chris Short just loses contact, but he's very, very strong going through the 20 minutes. 20 left to go. It's still Shane Stoney, what's the lead? 8.4 seconds best part of over the 52 car of Ross Elliott. Ross Elliott's now managed to sort of make that pretty much 2 seconds before we get to the third place car. Then Hunt, Jones, Warrener, Pinkerton and Short at the 5-car train in that order as they stand at the moment, and yes, it is still just about that way, but interestingly Warrener is now all over the black of the black number 77 car of Jones.
We also had a change for 9th and 10th position. Mackenzie Walker, number 27, up into 9th place. That now means that Mark Tranter drops down into 10th position, but still remains the leading rookie that we have in the field at this stage. That train of cars that you were talking about already heading up towards Oggies now. Will Hunt from Matt Jones from the car of Dean Warrener. Dean Warrener has got James Pinkerton and Chris Short right behind him, so they thread their way onto the Bentley straight. It's 5 cars, isn't it, really, for what is third, fourth, fifth, seventh places. I think they're quite close enough to shuffle the order again as they get down towards the bottom of the Bentley straight. I suspect by the time they get to the front of the Nelson division, they'll remain the same. James Pinkerton has been able to get through, so that means James Pinkerton is now in fifth position. The grey car, rather, of Dean Warrener.
First half or more of this race, once he suddenly came into view, not only Pinkerton got himself stabilised again now, though, hasn't he? But you can see that they have, both of those cars now have fallen away from James Pinkerton. Pinkerton's now going to see if he can reel in the black number 77 car of Matt Jones. And Matt Jones isn't going to make it easy for him because, as we say, he's fighting for second place in the championship. So, what have we got there? So this is their penultimate lap that they're going to be on this time round. Shane Stoney has taken over 10 seconds the lead this time round. And still, Mark, I noticed that we're getting predominantly green lap time, so they are still getting quicker and quicker and more comfortable with these track conditions, different to what they had in qualifying.
Absolutely, yeah. It certainly looks as though there are still a few little parts of the circuit that are damper than the others. I think the worst is still the bomb hole. Looking up the cameras that we see there, it still looks slightly shiny, doesn't it, the tarmac there, whereas everywhere else now looks rather dull as the conditions have continually improved. Shane Stoney now on to lap number 9. There's 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go, so there's less than a lap time, which means that by the time Shane Stoney gets over the start finish line next time through, he will be on to his last lap of the race. Penultimate time, Shane Stoney leading by over 10 seconds now from Ross Elliott in second place, who is still not that far up the road really from Wilbur. There's the rest of the cars, which includes Matt Jones, who's still under pressure as well for the fourth position. Both their way through, desperate to try and hang on to fourth place, but he's got 2018 champion James Pinkerton.
Getting past the Warrener number 19 car, is he? So he's got himself reeled in there now, and here they come onto their final lap, and there goes the second place car of quickly put him up there. Elliott, Hunt, Jones, Pinkerton, Warrener, Short, they're the top 7 positions, and I still think that we may well have some late lunges by 1 or 2 of these guys as they come down towards Wilson, and it is still in second place with sort of day glow orange and blue flashes on that white car that tells us it's not really easy, because again the dynamics changed and Hunt number 21's fallen back into the clutches of Matt Jones, who's under pressure from Pinkerton.
It's been one of those races, isn't it, where if you're in that lead pack, there's always been somebody that you have to either attack or defend from. No such worries over Shane Stoney, who now has posted another fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 56.733, and has increased his leading margin to 13.154 seconds after 9 laps of racing. Through Oggies for the final time goes our pack of cars fighting over 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place. Will Hunt still under pressure from Matt Jones. At the same time, Dean Warrener thinks there might be an opportunity. Chris Short desperate to try and see whether he might be able to gain an extra place, because those championship points could be absolutely vital to him come the totting up at the end of today's racing. As they then head down. Black car of Matt Jones.
That's a good run he's got there in towards the bomb hole, though, although he's not really been able to find a hole to plant his car in, but certainly the checkered flag and the victory goes to Shane Stoney, number 89 car, but look at his battery, and it looks like holding on to second should be Ross Elliott, but wouldn't put any money on those behind.
They're on the charge to the line. I think they're all just going to come up short, unfortunately. So Ross Elliott takes second position. Well done to him. It'll be Chris Short that comes, Will Hunt that comes through and finishes in third place. Trophy, so that nets him extra championship points over his main rival, Chris Short. James Pinkerton finishes in 5th place, ahead of Dean Warriner in 6th place, and Chris Short is in 7th place, the second of the Fangio competitors home. Mackenzie Walker finishes in 8th place in the end. Julian Lay finishes in 9th place. Mark Tranter wraps up the top 10, but is the first of the rookies home. In 11th place, it'll be car number 1818, that is Mark Williams, and then we wait the arrival of the next couple of cars through, because they've all been busy squabbling away. Andy Lowe, who finishes in 12th position, just ahead of David Tagg and Simon Bailey, who are 13th.